like to speak, feel free to come and line up behind Carol. That will save time too.
Carol Reller, Alstead Road, also Budget Committee. Mike, could you just clarify, I'm a little confused on one thing. You're upping the amount but keeping the roads the same? Correct. Okay. All right. The other thing is that the Budget Committee was in favor of the higher amount of money. We all felt that, for the most part, that it was a good time to do this paving. It's long overdue, and hopefully the oil prices will stay low as they have. The other thing is that a couple of us respectfully disagree with the numbers that Chris has thrown out there. We think the fund balance is actually a little bit higher than that. So, we have taken that into account when we had said, yes, let's go ahead and spend the extra money. So the Budget Committee does not feel it's an issue in terms of affecting the bottom line of the town.
The rest of you could line up here too.
My name is Judy Saunders, and we just moved here a year and a half ago, so I don't know many of you. So the proposal was to go up to 252 for Walpole Valley and March Hill roads, but you mentioned Prospect and Pleasant Street and a third one. So are those going to be addressed also, or what was the purpose of mentioning those particular roads? Yeah.
Thank you.
David Crosby.
Just hang out here for a while.
David Crosby actually set up a plan of trying to pave our roads every 10 years. By the time you get around to the 10th year, your roads are deteriorating. You start waiting any longer than that. Right now, we're on 15 years of paving. The schedule actually is the next, which hopefully next year, if we can do this paving, next year is going to be the Alstead Village, parking lots, the fire station, and town hall. We're going to do Library Ave, Summer Street, Hill Road, up to top until Cook Hill Road. And it depends how much money is and how expensive paving is next year. These are all, ballpark to what we can do. The next project, which is the following year, will be Drewsville Road and Homestead Road. The next one after that is where we left off by Cook Hill and the Hill Road all the way up through. Then we got Pine Cliff the following year. I mean, these are all, and then, I hate to say it, but Gladys Road and Prospect and Pleasant Street is going to be 4 years down the road. If we keep shorting it every year, it's going to be 15 years before we get to some of these other roads, and they're going to be garbage. And I invite anybody to take a ride up to Dairy Hill in Akron, and that's exactly what happens to your roads when you leave. That's exactly what happens. And then Airbrook, sorry, we're going back on Airbrook, which was paved back in 2010. We won't be paving, if we can get on the schedule, paving on Airbrook will be around 2022. So it just shows you, if you keep putting it off, he's going to cost you more money down the road.
Yeah, just Rich Nalavenko, Hill Road in Alstead. Just a couple of quick comments. Several years ago, we dealt with the warrant article and the wording of it so that it provided flexibility to David. We appropriated an amount of money, and I think probably want to consider saying that if you are able to do more than just the two roads that you have there, that allows David the flexibility to start on some of the other things if there's money left over in terms of what your bid proposal is on the asphalt. Now, I don't know, usually I've attended the sessions, and I'm assuming David has a rough bid or a rough idea on how much asphalt that amount of money under the current circumstances will cover. But I think the warrant article should be broadened to allow him the scope that says, hey, if he's got enough money to do both of the roads that you have in question, and he still has the ability to pay more, why not do it? So that's the comment. You may want to consider that in terms of changing the wording of the amendment.
To accomplish that, we would need to amend the amendment, so we'll hold that in reserve for now because your amendment is simply the $252,000 for those specific roads. Okay. So, yes, again.
Yes, thank you. Hancock Wright, Alstead Deliberative.
Can you move closer to the microphone?
Sorry. My question is about the fund balance. I know we're allowed to keep, not allowed, mandatory to have a certain amount by the state. How close to that mandatory amount are we getting to?
So here's the deal. I get to say this once every 4 or 5 years. Rich and I are in agreement on this. We think that language ought to be modified because if the price of oil is $6 a barrel in June, we could do a lot more payment for the same amount of money we're proposing to raise. So I would support that. 2, the fund balance calculation is complicated. Juliana Stevens has worked on it really hard. The gist of it is, though, that the legislature, to which you used to belong and may again belong someday, did not mandate a minimum balance. The Department of Revenue Administration recommends, and we are within that threshold for recommendations, no matter what happens at this meeting today, unless you go crazy later on down the line. And we promise, Juliana and I, to keep an eye on it. Right? Yeah. So we're going to keep, if all unfolds as this, if the voters take our recommendations, we'll keep about $250,000 of unassigned fund balance going into the next year. We will then supplement that with $155,000 of surplus from last fiscal year, plus we will add in the unanticipated revenue for the next fiscal year. So I told you it was complicated. Just for context, unanticipated revenue for 2015 fiscal was $59,000. So we should be in really good shape whether this amendment passes or fails.
Now, just to clarify where we are on this before I take any more discussion, we are discussing Glenn's original amendment, which was to change the dollar amount only to $252,000. What we will arrive at doing is to vote on the amendment first. Then we will have further discussion on the amended article, and then if somebody chooses to, Rich, make a further amendment, that's the time to do it. But
Since I made the amendment, can I amend my amendment to include that?
I don't know, I think we have to go through this.
No,
We have to go through this more complicated process.
So we have to defeat this amendment?
No, you can approve this amendment, and then you can have another vote on the next one, okay? So, is there further discussion on the amendment? Yes, Jeff?
Hi, Jeff Martin, Alstead. We increased the amount, we keep it the same road, that you increase the depth or increase the length of what you pay. Neither. That's the number for exactly what we need to do. So the 180,000 to begin with wasn't enough? Correct. Okay, so you're short on the 180,000.
My number originally was 250.
Okay.
It got broke down into the selectman's office to this,
Yeah.
wherever it got broke down.
So we need a minimum of 250 to say what you want to begin. Okay.
At current prices. At current prices.
When did you get your budget numbers? When did you get your budget numbers?
The last number I got, I just barely got.
You did, okay.
Everybody, and there's going to be more people that will bid on this as soon as we know we got money.
Right.
A lot of them say, well, we didn't get the money. We're not going to bid on it because we've done it so many times and nothing.
So I was on Miles Road, and I've been there just over 20 years, and we have not seen any frustration. So it's been at least 21 years.
Okay. Thank you. Yep. And as you can see, I'll get to you in a moment. I've turned the microphone around because technically you're supposed to address your questions to the moderator. It just maintains that legislative or professional distance or something like that. So, no, it's all right. So would you like to come forward to the...
I can speak up.
Okay.
John Blair on Granite Hill Road. So basically, this article, if we vote for it as is, we will not have enough money to do those roads.
Correct.
And if we want to do more roads, we'll have to even increase the money because the 250 is only good for these two roads. 250. It's only good for these two roads. So if we want to do Wireless Road or something else, we have to put in another, whatever it is, 1,500, whatever.
No.
Is that how that works?
No. What it is the oil price is less.
Okay.
My number to pay them two roads is less. So
So I would like to take the remaining balance of that and go somewhere else with it.
Okay, so in other words, it would probably cost somewhere around 180 to do these two roads. Today's prices.
No, it'll cost, I have bid right now $252,000.
Right.
But if the oil price is less, which will make the same amount of tonnage go further.
Okay, so you may have some that will correct.
And that balance will go somewhere else, instead of just not spending the money.
But with the price of oil and the way it is now, it's not going to get much lower probably, so it won't be a lot of money.
Well, every one of these people that have given me prices says this is today's number.
Right.
But when it comes time to do the paving, I want to rebid this, because if the number is lower, that will be your number.
Obviously. Unless prices go up, it's you buy them what you get.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so, yes.
Just one question.
Can you come to the mic, please?
I can
Oh, okay.
shout out. Yeah, just one question. Generally, how the budgets work in town, the way I understand it, is a budget for a department is approved. And if there are unspent funds in any particular part of that department budget, department head can utilize that money for other purposes. I want to be sure that if we approve the $70,000, and this goes for all items, that if we approve this additional $70,000, and as David said, the price of oil drops to $10 a barrel, or whatever it may be, therefore the cost of paving will be less per mile. The money that's in this proposal specifically is dedicated to paving and not used for other ancillary items in the budget.
Would one of the selectmen like to comment on this?
Yes, that's the difference between the budget and between a budgeted,
Warrant article.
between a warrant article that has a number attached to it. This money can only be spent for paving. It can only be spent for paving on what's specified in the warrant article. Correct? Any questions?
Correct. Okay. Yes.
I have a question. What is the average cost of paving per mile in New Hampshire and Vermont, to get an average? And how many miles are involved in those two roads?
I've got a little calculation on it, and it's just layman's calculation, I'm not an expert at it. Just what we've done in our town, nothing else in any other state line or anything else. We're paving on the average, what we do is we shim and then we put a top coat on top of it. We normally average right around $100,000 per mile to pave. Plus or minus, depends how bad the road is. I mean, that number I've seen as low as $80,000 per mile. It can be as high as $170,000 per mile. It just depends on how far the road is deteriorated. You see all those look-throughs, they have to be leveled off. 1 inch on top of that. So, so those are the ballpark prices that I've seen. I think it's 220 miles on that road.
Are there other questions? Mike?
I'd like to move the question as amended.
All those in favor of moving the question, please raise those green cards. Opposed? Opposed? The question has been moved. Now we will vote on the amendment, which is to see, I will now read it as it should be. To see if the town of Alstead will vote to raise and appropriate the sum of $252,000 for the purpose of paving roads, Walpole Valley and March Hill. The sum of $252,000 to come from the assigned fund balance as December 31, available to transfer on January 1. No amount to be raised by taxation. The selectmen unanimously recommend this article. Majority vote required. All those in favor of amending this article, please signify by raising those green cards. Opposed? Thank you. Now we will have a discussion on the amended article, which is now for $252,000.
Can I make an amendment to that?
Certainly.
Change
Can
the
you,
wording.
can you,
I'd like to make an amendment to that Article 10 to include Walpole. I just talked to David about it. He said the moving charge would be the best, to include Walpole Valley, March Hill, and then roll over to Homestead Road. The distance to move it would be really next to nothing for a moving charge. So if we had any extra material left over, we could go over and start the Homestead Road.
to the homesteader for paving?
Yeah. It's got Dave's side.
Homestead?
Oh, the Alstead Village Inn, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, there probably will be no mobilization charge because you end up on the end of Pratt Road and just walk the equipment right around the corner and you're there, instead of having to move stuff. So you may want to include Bruceville if there's any money left over as well. Just so you don't get stuck.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Do you want to include,
Of course it does.
Jason?
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
So we're going to add the word.
Walpole Valley. Yeah, Walpole Valley, March Hill, Homestead, and the Drewsville
So
Road.
the amendment is to add the words Homestead Road and Drewsville Road.
Correct.
Is there discussion on the amended article? Yes, Carol.
Yeah, well, I think you need to clarify that, because your goal is to do the first two roads, and if there's funds, material left, to do the rest, is that correct?
Correct.
That's not what you said. You're basically saying you're gonna do all of them the way I encouraged you, and was my concern. And my concern is that now you're putting the half-inch layer down instead of the inch, which is supposed to. So I think you need to spell out what's gonna be done and what's going to be done.
Okay, is this okay with everybody that we simply clarify this amendment, that we stay on this? Okay. Go ahead and clarify.
All right. So I just want to change the wording from Walpole Valley Road, March Hill, and any surplus material left over would then go to Homestead and the Drewsville Road.
Yay. Okay. Well done. Is there discussion, further discussion on this amended article? We are now ready to vote on the amended article. And do you have the wording, Gloria? Okay, Gloria would like the wording. So let's see if I can recite it from memory. To see if the town of Alstead will vote to raise raise and appropriate the sum of $252,000 for the purpose of paving roads, Walpole Valley and March Hill Road, with the surplus to be used for Homestead Road and the Drewsville Road. The sum of $252,000 to come from the unassigned fund balance as December 31st, available to transfer on January 1st. No amount to be raised by taxation. The selectmen unanimously recommend this article. Is there discussion on this?
One word, change, add any surplus. Are you assuming there's going to be?
Any, that's what he did. I was simply, okay, thank you. Further discussion? Yes. Well, now we're voting on the second amendment, right. Okay. All those in favor of this amendment, please raise your green cards. Thank you. Any opposed? All right, now we're back to discussing the amended article, which now discusses the both the change in price and or dollar amount and the change in adding extra roads as there is surplus. Is there further discussion?
I move the question.
I second.
I would like to give an opportunity to see if there's discussion before I move the question. Is there further discussion?
I move the question.
Now he moves the question. But now we have to approve. All those in favor of moving the question, please raise your hands. Okay, and then this will be quick. All those in favor of the amendment, the article, where are we? Article 10 as amended, please raise your hands. Thank you. Okay. I think we're done with that one. Thank you. Thank you, Glenn. Article 11, to add to the ambulance capital reserve fund. Is there a motion to add to the capital reserve fund? Yes, Les? Okay. Is there a second?
Just a second.
Okay, thank you. Is there a discussion on Article 11? Seeing none, I ask the clerk to place it on the ballot as written. Article 12, to purchase an equipment trailer. Is there a motion for Article 12?
Don, I would move that we place this on the ballot as written.
Is there a second? Second, thank you. Is there discussion on Article 12? Seeing none, I ask the clerk to place Article 12 on the ballot as written. Article 13, to repair cemetery stone walls. Do I hear a motion on Article 13?
Move to put it on the ballot as written.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. Is there discussion on Article 13? Seeing none, I ask that the clerk, oh, no, there's discussion, sorry. Caught me just in time. That's great.
I think the cemetery in question, which I understand is Slade Cemetery, should be specified.
Was,
Front
is it
wall, Slade
specified?
Cemetery.
Is it specified? I don't
I
know.
don't see it, no.
Bruce, can you offer clarification?
These funds were to be used at Slade Cemetery, which is at the junction of Walpole Valley Road and Homestead Road. Craft.
Proper.
So